When a codex has come out in 10th edition, there is some change to how the index units worked. We are adding keywords. Some of our Adepta Sororitas units are getting the Penitent keywords. That includes Repentia, Penitent engines, obviously, Mortifiers, and the Archoflagellants. You see, not all traitors and non-believers are burned at the stake. This is a much more, less humane way of execution. But for the Imperium, body horror is considered a just reward for the impious. Although I will be calling this the Bloody Rose Detachment, it's more like the Ultramarines Gladius Task Force, with a different choice of different abilities, but only for the Penitent units. Once per game, for one battle round, you can have each of these vows active. So turn 1, Path of the Penitent to have an extra 3 inches of movement, especially nice on the already fast Penitent engines. You get into a good position or just first turn charge. Turn 2, you charge, and for Absolution in battle, you get +1 attack and strength to cause as much damage as possible. Unless their unit is changed, Repentia will be rerolling hit rolls, rerolling wound rolls at 3 attacks each with strength 7 massive chainswords. That can pack a punch. If you want more of a hit from other Penitent units, the Penitent engine and Archoflagellants can get even more attacks with Passion of the Penitent to have sustained hits trigger on a 5+. But we're not done with these units. The start of battle round 3, remember to do this at the start of the battle round, not the start of your turn. That may mean doing it at the start of your opponent's turn. It's especially important for this third choice, as Death Before Dishonor will work when your opponent fights back, and you can still fight on death. We like this for Repentia especially, as they are very squishy. There's already a stratagem, Spirit of the Martyr, to do this in the Hallowed Martyrs Detachment, and I don't think that will move over. This is a lot like the detachments we saw for the Genestealer cult. Highly specialized, perhaps too specialized. I know many of you have been running lots of Archoflagellants because that was quite a good meta at the start of 10th edition, and my army list suggestions for an army with no Battle Sisters works well with this detachment. You can see from one of the army list suggestions, there are a lot of Archoflagellants. If you don't like body horror Archoflagellants, Repentia are very good and go more for attack than being able to absorb damage. Both units are good, and I've compared them before, but you need to have lots of these units, these Penitent units, to make this detachment work. It is not for me. It's worth a playtest or two, but I'm more Sacred Rose than Bloody Rose. I don't have that many Ecclesiarchy units, unless I proxy, and I don't have many Repentia. My sisters are good girls. Most of them. I just hope Repentia can still be taken in squads of 5, otherwise I don't think I will have any Repentia. Just novitiates with whips and swords and pistols. Bringers of the Flame is a detachment that is more my style. Despite its name, it's about the Holy Trinity, not just the Flamers. As I predicted way back in my Sisters Detachment prediction video, there is a detachment that suits the Argent Shroud and follows the Salamanders Detachment. It's almost a copy and paste. Well, it's a copy and paste. All of the ranged weapons have Assault and get an extra point of strength when within 12 inches of the enemy. Wow, and yes, all ranged weapons. So it's not just the Holy Trinity, it's guns. Sisters of Battle are a very close-range shooting army, so this detachment plays to our army strength, not the fringe units in the Penitent host. We bring more bolt guns than Space Marines and need that strength 5 bolt gun to hurt orcs, and it lets us wound most other infantry units on a 3+. With strength 6 regular flamers on sister squads, we can burn away cultists as we wound them on a 2+. So take that, Chaos Cult Detachment! Dominions will still have a place in this detachment. If you saw the Assault on Everything and thought that Dominions would be out and not worth taking, they are the ones that can re-roll advance rolls, and we will be advancing, and they bring lots of flamers that will get to close range. That is why this detachment is called Bringers of the Flame. As long as you are within 12 inches, flamer range, your guns get better. You don't even need to have one of each of the Holy Trinity. I know you build your Paragon warsuits with all multi-melters, instead of having each of one multi-melter, one heavy flamer, and one heavy bolter. Do not eschew the Holy Trinity. But this detachment doesn't care. It's a gun, you fire it. And it also applies to plasma weapons, the fourth weird cousin in the Holy Trinity, the one that brought in the drinks and cleaned up when the Holy Trinity was founded. They are part of the band, but also not. They get the bonuses too. Another reason why this isn't just called the Holy Trinity Detachment. It's the Holy Gun Detachment. Think of all the other weapons that we use when we get within 12 inches. So melter guns get to strength 10, which is important when light vehicles like the Rhino, like the Sisters Rhino, is toughness 9, and medium tanks are toughness 10. It's the equivalent of +1 to wound. And this isn't the jump pack detachment, but I am excited to drop in Seraphim with strength 5 hand flamers and bolt pistols. If you want to cut your way through lots of bodies, this enhancement on the jump pack Canoness and Seraphim are going to be a delight. I like the enhancement Fire and Fury. I will take a Battle Sister squad, add a Palatine, they grant lethal hits, and now also sustained hits. So with a miracle dice of a 6, a melter weapon can auto wound and also gets another shot to try and wound. Ah, the smell of cooked heretic. Leave some alive for the Penitent host to arcoflagellate later. Then, in this shooting detachment, those arcoflagellants can also have lethal hits and sustained hits in combat. This is more of a do-it-all kind of detachment, the detachment I would have liked from the start instead of Hallowed Martyrs. Where are my Ebon Chalice and Argent Shroud sisters at? Shout out your order in the comments! But the Sacred Rose are probably best suited to the Army of Faith. Have you seen my video on all the ways to gain miracle dice? In this edition, in any detachment, you should be putting a lot of pressure on the table leg for the amount of miracle dice in a pile. Sacred Rites lets you perform 2 acts of faith per unit per phase instead of just 1. I do hope Act of Faith is better defined, but Games Workshop has announced today, 6th of June, that they will be doing a real FAQ for armies. I might have a few videos coming out very quickly on this sort of thing. Click that subscribe button and have the notifications on so you know about them. They'll be coming thick and fast in the next few days. So with all your miracle dice, let's make sure we hit with an important melter shot and that we also wound with that important melter shot. Or how about you wound with a multi-melter, and then each of the shots from that multi-melter can cause max damage. This is the detachment I expect to see become popular at tournaments. Bring out your Imagifiers, get yourself some better miracle dice. We're on a miracle dice spending spree. Take that, Eldar, with your limited fate dice. Also, take that, our martyred lady. Eleanor's blade is ours. Maybe it's the best way to show off our new character model, who has no rules, but could be a Palatine with Eleanor's flaming blade. As an enhancement, it has changed. You don't get more attacks or more damage, but I love precision for removing enemy characters that really buff out their unit. Characters like the Primus, who gives full rerolls and is also very squishy. You will need the Xenocreed congregation to keep him alive, but that's not looking too popular right now. The other great thing about the blade is that if you kill any model, not a unit like the Simulacrum requires, just a model, you gain a miracle dice. So kill a pathetic little dude next to the character as you assign precision damage after rolling to wound, and you can keep hitting that one unlucky fellow until they die. You get a miracle dice, then you can put the rest of the attacks onto their character, and see if you can kill them too. I know precision is not widely liked, but I value it. This is a detachment that you can also bring back the combat pain caused by the Bloody Rose. You don't have to rely on the Penitent units. Any unit, including the Penitent units, can get extra armor penetration in this detachment, shooting or combat. Massed bolt guns can be better. Arcoflagellants can have armor penetration. This is versatility. Even though the Army of Faith was touted as the Seraphim Jump Pack detachment, it looks to work with all the units in the army. Unless that one stratagem is the one that's for everyone and the rest are heavily focused on Seraphim and Zephyrim. But that is why I think the Penitent Host is the weakest detachment. It is too specialized. Unless your army has that specialization, the Army of Faith and Bringers of Flame are better. We'll have to wait until the codex or its leaked form to see. We do still have the Hallowed Martyrs for the Order of Our Martyred Lady, but that detachment rule is not much liked. A bonus only after you take damage is not very popular, and Suffering and Sacrifice is less valuable without Crusaders to— oh, I may have said too much. Next video perhaps. Remind yourself of all the units in the Sisters army, and with this knowledge, start thinking about how you would use them and their combos in each detachment. My darlings and viewers, we're a drop cathedral short of total victory.